Welcome back guys, new Cyberpunk video and to the absolute best and most powerful Netrunner build you can make and we have ever created for Cyberpunk 2077. I was able to squeeze out over 200,000 damage, dissecting the whole Netrunner playstyle with infinite RAM, infinite health, infinite overclock to create absolute destruction across Night City. With this build you will literally stop dying, you will make everything explode and everyone die and fall to the ground instantly. This build is a perfect result of exploiting and abusing all the mechanics a Netrunner build has to offer, including perfect Qs, perfect abilities and a perfect order of quick hacks. It is no longer a matter of if you can kill max stack, because they will just get quick hacked and fall dead to the ground. It is rather a matter of how long do you want to play versus them. You can beat 5 rounds, 10 rounds or even 15 rounds of max stack using this build without any problems, because you can instantly hack and kill an entire group of max stack even on very hard difficulty. And of course, as usual, all the footage, everything you see here, all the max stack kills, all the group kills were recorded on very hard difficulty. No matter how many people are shooting at you and no matter how much RAM you actually use on all your enemies, your health will be constantly pushed back to maximum. If you do this build correctly, you will enter an infinite RAM health regeneration loop that will give you hundreds of RAM and health every second. And this is not achieved by heal and kill or other cyberware, it is achieved by using Blood Demon and Data Recycler. Blood Demon will give you back 40 health for every quick hack that is still in the enemy's queue, so you get back up to 160 health for every kill, and Data Recycler will refund 80% of the RAM that was needed to get it. So playing aggressively with Qs will give you hundreds and hundreds of RAM and health per second. And to use all the infinite power we get from it, we have to use the correct items and perks. First and foremost, the COX-2 Cybersomatic Optimizer, which will not only give you 100% crit chance, but it will also give you 1000% quick hack damage, which is certainly kind of a bug, but it is only a small part of it. Secondly, we have to use the Tetratronic Rippler Mark V, because it gives you 40% damage for every quick hack that is followed by a non-combat quick hack. And from Embedded Exploit you will get another 60% damage when your enemy is also affected by Control Quick Hack. So both of this will double up the entire 1000% to be over 2000%. So in order to create the perfect queue, we should first add a Control Quick Hack. Cyberware Malfunction is the best Control Quick Hack in the game because it also adds a ton of damage additionally to it. The second and even the most important Quick Hack in every queue and every time you kill an enemy should be Synapse Burnout. It not only gives you the highest possible damage with 1731, it also guarantees you to maintain your overclock when you kill an enemy with it, and it will also give you additional 400% or even 800% damage the more RAM you have in your queue. So Synapse Burnout must always be followed by a quick hack that simply wastes a ton of RAM on your target. You need over 40 RAM additionally after Synapse Burnout to get its full potential. And I figured out that System Collapse is probably the best ultimate quick hack to fulfill this requirement, because it costs 28 RAM the first time you use it and 14 RAM the second time you use it. So this will cost you an additional 42 RAM that will max out your previous Synapse Burnout. And don't be afraid, you can easily afford this. So our initial 1000% quick hack damage from the COX Optimizer will be multiplied by another 800% from Synapse Burnout, then doubled by Rippler and Exploit, and then almost doubled again by our critical damage, giving us a potential total of over 200,000 damage. Of course, you don't have to use always the same queue, you can use multiple variations of this, and some of these will even deal more damage. Of course, a perfect queue should be Malfunction, Synapse and 2x System Reset, but you can also use Malfunction, 2x Synapse and 1 System Reset, but in the heat of battle you will most likely just refer to Synapse spam to keep up your overclock at any time. But once max tech is dropping, you have to care a bit more about what to use. When you start engaging your enemies with this build, you should first activate your blood pump and then immediately activate your overclock. That will ensure that you have enough initial RAM to start your hacking. It is important that you not only upload 1 or 2 quick hacks, you always have to upload as many as possible and ideally fill the entire hacking queue of all your enemies. And secondly, it is important that you never touch your blood pump again, because your blood pump will be activated automatically if your health or your RAM drops too low. So so you can just focus on the combat, jump around your enemies, and Blood Pump will just activate from time to time whenever it is triggered. You should also extensively make use of slowing down time whenever you focus an enemy with your quick hacks. Just jump around, focus on your enemies every time, and just upload as much quick hacks as your current RAM allows you to do. If you don't have RAM, just release your focus and just focus immediately again, because you will likely get more RAM every millisecond you play with this build. When max stack is dropping, make sure you upload the best potential hacking queue with malfunction, synapse, and 2x system reset. Every max stack enemy will immediately drop to the ground except for the Mantis Blades guy and the heavy one. The Mantis Blade guy should receive a special treatment with cripple movement. Also make sure to make every single police car explode, that will get you more kills even faster. I guarantee you will never have more fun than playing with this build. But enough with the explanation, guys, let's check out the build. Of course, if you want to support me creating more of these crazy builds, please consider to become a Patreon or YouTube member or check out our Discord server. The weapon I will mainly use here for this build, of course, is a smart weapon, since we have a great synergy effect also with our quick hacks, and I will use the Yinglong, which has an increased electrical damage, which is always nice against almost every target. You can of course also add the Sovereign and the Sparky as a backup, since we will fill out the body tree anyway, and the Sparky doesn't need any perk points to be used. But if you ever get bored of quick hacking, you should rather use the Yinglong, because Yinglong also gives you back RAM when killing enemies. Of course, for our operating system, we will use the Tetratronic Rippler Mark V. It is not because of any max RAM or other stuff it gives us, mainly just because of the 40% additional quick hack damage, which is a multiplier that we will always get when we add a non-combat quick hack after a combat quick hack. It also uploads control quick hacks when you activate overclock, which is really nice, and it also gives you more max RAM. For the quick hacks, according to our queue, you should go for Cyberware Malfunction for the control quick hack, followed by Synapse Burnout, which is a quick hack where all our damage is basically coming from, and after Synapse Burnout you should upload ultimate quick hacks such as System Collapse to waste a lot of RAM and to maximize the potential of your Synapse Burnout. It is not important that any further quick hack after Synapse Burnout deals any damage, you just throw in a lot of RAM to just multiply your Synapse Burnout. On targets which are worth it, you can also use short circuits such as robots. You can get the iconic one from the Netrunner shop in Dogtown, and especially for the Mantis Blade max deck, you should use cripple movement to kill him much easier and quicker. These are all the quick hacks you will ever need. You should not fill up the entire list, because it will just make it harder to pick the correct one, especially for consoles where you have to scroll through the entire list. To use the Yinglong properly, you should use the Smart Link in your hand Cyberware, and of course we will add a blood pump to our health regeneration. A Netrunner helmet will reduce the enemy's quick hack upload time, while when using a Braindeath Res you will increase your own upload speed at the same time. But now let's check out the Cyberware. In order to make this build so incredibly OP, you should exactly pick these items, because only in combination you will get so strong and so OP by using this build. Which also means you will need around 300 Cyberware capacity to make it, and of course we'll also use the Edgerunner's perk to increase it. In our frontal cortex we'll have the absolute iconic madness with the COX-2 Cybersomatic Optimizer, which is not only giving you 100% crit chance for your quick hacks, but also 1000% quick hack damage. I'm pretty sure this is getting fixed at some point, however you should still use it for the crit chance. If you only own the base game, you should use the standard bioconductor here. Then we have the iconic RAM reallocator, which refills 30% of your RAM. This item normally has 75 seconds cooldown, but since we are at intelligence 20, it only has a 15-second cooldown. However, this can further be reduced by using the Axolotl. Axolotl reduces any cooldown by 12.5% for every enemy kill. And if you just make a few enemy kills, you will almost have no cooldown on the RAM reallocator, which is pretty insane. And the Axolotl will also reduce the cooldown to near zero for your reflex tuner, which will also allow you to have slowdown literally all the time. So this item is incredibly powerful, further contributing to infinite RAM and infinite slowdown. In the skeleton, of course, we try to get as much armor as possible by getting the epimorphic skeleton, the normal parabellum, and also the bionic joints, which all gives us a great value of armor for just little capacity. In the nervous system you should go for the reflex tuner, which again slows down time almost forever because of the axolotl, which literally kills any cooldown of any item. I would actually just go for the normal reflex tuner, even if you can afford the iconic one. I wouldn't really use it, because in the heat of the battle it is actually sometimes even better to slow down everything, including yourself, so you have enough time to get an overview of what's going on, to pick the right quick hacks, etc. I think the normal one is just the better option, because the iconic one just also costs way too much. In our integumentary system, we will go for another subdermal armor to get a lot of armor for a cheap price, and also the carapace, because carapace will increase your armor effectiveness by 32% when you are shot from the sides or from behind, and it also gives you a ton of armor. So if you are standing in the middle of the street with 20 police standing around you, simultaneously shooting at you from all sides, this is the item you want to have. Of course, for the cyber deck, we will go for the Tetratronic Rippler Mark V. I think it's the best cyber deck you can use by far right now. It gives you the additional 40% damage boost, uploads control quick hacks on its own, and increases your max RAM. In the optics, you don't have to go for crit chance, you can just use a normal optics that only costs you 1 capacity. However, if you want to increase your crit chance with your Yinglong, then of course, if you have the capacity, go for the expensive one, but it is absolutely not needed. You will have 100% crit chance with your quick hacks anyway. Of course, go for the Smart Link to enable the Yinglong and get the additional RAM, and then in the circulatory system, get the blood pump, get the biomonitor, and also get heal on kill. However, the weakest item in this row is actually heal on kill. So if you want to further improve this build and you have the capacity, then swap out heal on kill and pot in a second heart. Heal on kill only gives you 7% health for every kill, which is almost negligible because you will get so much more from just using Blood Demon that heal on kill is really no longer necessary. And last but not least, of course, get attendance for your double jump. For the additional perks, I would suggest you go for as much health and health regeneration as you can, and also for electrical damage and quick hack damage. When it comes down to the skills, I would actually recommend you go for 20 on intelligence, because of course we want to max out our Qs and want to max out all the potential quick hack damage. We want to max out body to increase our health item recharge as much as possible, and we also want to max out tech to increase our capacity as much as possible. We actually don't need any reflex, but we want to increase our critical damage, so we drop all the remaining points into cool. However, we won't even use a lot of points here. Since intelligence is probably the most important tree, we will first check out this one. As I already showed you, Blood Demon and the Data Recycler are probably the most important perks to get infinite health and infinite RAM. But for this to work, you have to be in overclock mode, because only the overclock mode allows the health to RAM conversion. Blood Demon will give you 40 health for every quick hack that is still remaining in the enemy's queue, which means you can get up to 160 health for every enemy you kill. It is the strongest health perk in the game, but only if you fully utilize your queues, which means you have to upload up to 4 quick hacks to every enemy to make this work. So you absolutely have to go all the way up the Q tree, Eye in the Sky, Hack Q, Q Acceleration and Q Mastery. That allows you to queue up to 4 quick hacks and will also unlock a lot of RAM reductions alongside with it. And the finisher will also give you an additional 15% damage if you filled the entire queue. Hack Root will also further reduce the RAM cost for every unique quick hack, Feedback Loop will increase the RAM recovery, and most importantly, Data Recycler will give you back almost the entire unused RAM from the uploaded but not used quick hacks in the queues. So you simply put the expensive quick hacks at the end of the queue and you will always get the refund for it and also additional health for not using them, which is just insane. Of course, the middle tree is pretty much standard. We go for optimization, proximate propagation to reduce the RAM cost as much as possible. Then the embedded exploit will give you 60% additional quick hack damage for every enemy that is affected by control quick hack. So in order to get the maximum damage, you have to make sure to upload a control quick hack first, and the best of it, of course, is Cyberware Malfunction. And then of course it is most important to get the overclock perk and all the enhancements for it. Sublimation will make your RAM recovery also affect your health recovery. Race Against Mind will give you more quick hack damage the lower your health is. And Power Surge will immediately increase your health when you start overclock, however that is likely only done once in combat. Spillover will also give you a small chance that your quick hacks are spreading. However, if you want to get the most out of your Yinglong, then definitely go for the recirculation, because when you kill an enemy using your Yinglong, you will then recover some of your RAM. The tech tree will be more standard, but also stripped to the bare minimum. We go for all things cyber, license to Chrome, and of course the Netrunner perk. And then we will only pick the additional perks like warranty extension and Renaissance perk that really benefit our build. The driver update and shipware connoisseur can of course be used, but then later removed when you rewrote all your cyberware. It is really important to reduce the cooldown of your blood pump as much as possible. We go for Health Freak, Pyromania and even Friendly Fire, because sometimes you just explode a car and you are standing next to it. Of course we will also pick up all the other perks that further increase our recharge and the power of our healing item. Of course, getting 20 body also allows us to get the body finisher, which will further reduce the cooldown of our blood pump, which is really helpful. Grab all the basic stuff for your health regeneration at the bottom and then go for Adrenaline Rush. Adrenaline Rush, especially when used together with blood pump, will push your health above 600 health, and that simply means you have a lot more RAM during overclock, which allows you to upload much more quick hacks simultaneously. And that again will make it extremely easy to fill up the entire queue for every enemy. Since the biomonitor will always use your blood pump whenever it's available, using the finisher here to reduce the cooldown further is absolutely mandatory. You will probably not use your shotgun very often, but it has a great synergy effect with your adrenaline, so definitely go for it if you go for body anyway. Because when you have the Bloodlust perk here in the middle, you will also get adrenaline every time you dismember an enemy. You will most likely not run around with your shotgun, but rather use the Yinglong, but if you do that, you have a great synergy effect on generating more adrenaline. Even though we dropped a lot of points here into cool, we don't really get anything here. We will just mainly get fill-in footwork and then only get the other attribute points, because every attribute point also increases our critical damage. That also means, of course, if you don't have the DLC, you simply reduce cool by 10 points and you will be totally fine with it. The relic tree is also not needed for this build. You can of course also grab every point and every ability you can, but none of these will actually have an impact on your net running skills or on your damage. That's it for the build, guys. I think this is the most powerful, most complex build I have ever made for Cyberpunk. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like, and see you next time.